did you realize you were being groomed to replace someone? My mother expected me to marry my deceased sister's husband on my 18th birthday because grief must stay in the family. Addison died 8 months ago during childbirth and left behind baby Rose and her husband Zach, who spent most nights drinking himself unconscious on our couch. Mom had been dropping hints since the funeral, but I thought she was just processing grief in weird ways until she sat me down with photo albums. Your great-grandmother married her sister's widower, Mom explained. It's how we keep the family whole. I laughed, thinking it was a dark joke, but her face stayed serious as she explained how I'd been chosen since birth as the backup plan. The younger daughter always served as insurance in our family. Mom's eyes went distant as she touched her own wedding ring and whispered that she'd been Aunt Caroline's replacement 30 years ago. She'd already talked to Zach about it, and he was grateful for the solution because Rose needed a mother who shared Addison's blood. The preparation started immediately, even though my birthday was 4 months away. Mom moved into our house claiming she needed to help with my training and brought boxes of Addison's things for me to study. She made me watch hours of home videos to learn Addison's laugh and the way she tilted her head when confused. I had to practice her signature until my hand cramped because I'd need to sign legal documents as her. Mom corrected me constantly, saying Addison would never hold a coffee cup that way or cross her legs to the left. Zach started coming for dinner every night with Rose and calling me by Addison's name when Mom wasn't looking. He'd apologize immediately, but then do it again 5 minutes later like he couldn't help himself. The baby screamed whenever I held her because apparently I smelled wrong, and Mom would take her away, clicking her tongue about how I needed to use Addison's perfume. She threw out all my clothes, claiming Addison was allergic to synthetic fabrics, and made me quit my job because Addison never worked outside the home. My friends stopped calling after Mom told them I was having a breakdown and needed space to heal. My boyfriend George found out when he showed up unexpectedly and saw me in Addison's clothes practicing her walk in the mirror. He stood frozen in the doorway while Mom explained this was about family duty and love. She made me eat Addison's favorite foods even though they made me sick, and scheduled appointments to dye my hair to match Addison's exact shade. I'd catch myself responding to Addison's name and forgetting my own birthday because Mom insisted we only celebrate Addison's dates now. The worst part was finding myself humming Addison's favorite songs without realizing it, like she was slowly taking over my brain. The breaking point came when I found wedding invitations in Mom's desk drawer with Addison's name and Zach listed as the happy couple getting married on my birthday. My hands shook as I read the calligraphy announcing Addison's renewal of vows because death couldn't stop true love. That night I stood in front of the bathroom mirror practicing what I'd say, and George held my hand as I dialed Mom's number. "I'm not doing this," I said, and my voice cracked but stayed firm. "I won't erase myself for anyone." Mom went silent for so long I thought she'd hung up before the screaming started. "You're destroying this family!" she shrieked while I heard glass breaking in the background. She called her sisters, who all had stories about sacrifice and duty. Dad video called from his business trip to say I was being selfish and to think about baby Rose. Mom hired a private investigator to follow George and manufactured evidence he was dealing substances. She called my job pretending to be concerned about my mental health and got me put on mandatory leave. Child services showed up asking questions about whether I was stable enough to be around Rose unsupervised. The first family court judge seemed sympathetic to Mom's grieving family story and suggested mediation might help us heal together. I almost signed the papers when Mom threatened George would go to prison for the planted substances. My aunts formed a human chain blocking the courthouse exit, saying I couldn't leave until I agreed to honor Addison's memory. But Zach testified that Mom had been coaching him on how to make me fall in love with him. The judge ordered psychiatric evaluations, and Mom's sisters finally admitted they'd been forced into similar arrangements. We won, but I lost my entire family in the process. Mom still sends letters about how I killed our family legacy. George and I moved 3 states away and changed our phone numbers, but sometimes I wake up terrified she's found us again. The wedding dress showed up on our doorstep last month with a note saying tradition always wins eventually, and I burned it in the backyard while George held me.